Yo, what's up, you guys? Hope you guys are having an amazing, fantastic week. All right, so today I want to drop this video because I'm having this question come up over and over again. And the best way for me to do and to answer these questions is to kind of train on it and be able to add value to you guys this way, okay? So now here's the question. The question was, I'm going to be sharing my screen so everyone has can see this. The question here was, does debt consolidation drop your score? And this is from a woman in uh in my in our mentorship group. Okay. Does debt consolidation drop your score? And I thought this was a really good question because debt consolidation is a strategy in which we could use to actually boost up our score. But now she's asking, wait, does this drop my score, and would that be beneficial in her current situation? Okay. It's a phenomenal question. Let me go ahead and share my screen real quick because this, what I like to do is break things in phases. Okay, inside of Biz Funded Secrets, phase one is everything that has to do with credit. Okay, and we in the phase one is the mechanics phase. Hope you guys are tracking. All right, so inside of Biz Funded Secrets, anything that typically has to do with credit is in phase one, and inside of phase one, it's the mechanics phase. Okay. All right, so that question would fall under building credibility in 30 days in my head, like automatically, right? So I'm like, okay, cool. She is probably has identified exactly what's going on. Okay, on her credit is like, okay, cool. Maybe she's currently maxed out in her credit, or wants to just like, consolidate some credit into one simple payment. Maybe that would really help her at the moment. In order to accomplish what she's looking to accomplish, right? So that's my train of thought, and I want to share this so you guys understand like how I reason through this inside of our framework. Okay, so if that's the current situation, and now she's asking, hey, does this affect my credit, or does this pull down my credit? The exact verbiage was, does debt consolidation drop your score? For me to answer that, I'm going to share something else. I have a little whiteboard here. It's going to help us break this down. Okay. All right. So does debt consolidation drop your score? And the answer is, it depends. Let me explain. Let's just say we're currently at a 650 credit score. Okay. Let's say we're currently at a 650 credit score. If we're currently at a 650 credit score, and we want to 650 FICO, I will just assume that they want to go for funding, right? Typically at this point, there's usually maybe one negative item, like one negative, like I just put 1 to 2 negative items, or it might just be a utilization issue. Utilization. Okay. Now, let's say she has found a way to taking care of the negative items, and what's going to happen here is that it's going to help her with her utilization. And let's say this is the only thing that's really affecting. This is the last thing that's affecting the credit. Okay, now let's just assume that there is she has like a $5,000 credit card that's currently maxed out. Okay, this scenario would help in bringing the story together. Utilization 100%. Okay, now we know, I gotta make this bigger and width. There we go. We know that when it comes to credit, the top main areas are your payment history, right? And the next area, which is about 30% of your score, is your utilization. Okay, if this is the case, and current utilization is maxed out, and her current FICO is at 650 or less, whatever the case is, if we went ahead and added 30% of this back to it on here, I can easily see her being able to get to I could easily see her being able to get to 750. This whiteboard thing is actually pretty cool. I'm doing it like live for the first time with you guys. All right, so let's say this is the current situation. Come back, text on here. Boop, 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 boop. Current situation. Okay. Let's make up this scenario real quick. This is the current situation right here. And then this would be the after. That Google thing right there. All right, whatever. Let's keep going. You guys get what I'm saying? All right, so over here is going to be after. Boom. Before and after. After. Before. Or current, yeah. Before/current. In my head right away, I'm like, okay, if this is the current situation, I know that this would really work for her. Right? You might just put yourself in the situation and just think through this, because once we understand how to think in this framework, it's really going to answer a lot of our questions. And now, because we know how to think through it, we know how to come up with those proper answers. Okay, cool. So before, let's just say this is the current situation. Now I know that we know that, hey, payment history is 35%, meaning there is no late payments or any thing of that nature in the last 2 years when it comes for her to get funded. Utilization is 30% or less. Okay. Utilization is 30% of our entire score on how it's reporting. Okay, and after, what we're looking for right here is 720 plus, ideally. 720 plus. And we also want zero negatives, and utilization at 3 to 5%. I'll just say 0 to 5% max at the time of funding, right? If this is what we want, I know this is going to work for her. Why? Why do I know this? It's because that's just how it works. That's how the algorithm works, right? Especially if we want for like automatic approvals. And if we just add, if we simply do the math, you could also tell why this is going to work. If she's currently at a 100% utilization right here, and she does the debt consolidation loan, right? Because that's the whole topic. This is going to go up, right? If all the other factors stays the same and she takes care of this negative item, and we come over here, there's no more negative items, and maybe it's even a collect, like, I hope it's not a collection, but if it's a collection, even the same thing, right? Whatever the negative item is, if it's a derogatory or a charge off, whatever, any derogatory, any negative item, she takes care of that and this utilization. That is, I mean, that could easily raise her 50 points, 100 points, if all the other factors stays the same. Okay, cool. Now we know that just by simply doing math. All right. Now the question is, does the debt consolidation drop your score? And the answer to that, why I say it depends, is, hey, a typical debt consolidation that's going to show up on your credit report more than likely will drop your score in the first will drop your score in the beginning stages, and then it will pop back up. Okay, so it depends on how it's executed. If we went for a debt consolidation loan possibilities. It will drop if your credit. It will drop if your credit does not. How do I say this simply? If this is like the first time in which you see like your consumer profile has an account like that, right? If your consumer profile is the first time that it has an account like that, it would drop it and then it would rescore and come back up in the next month. Okay, so in a typical situation, put it like this. In a typical situation, it will. And what does the typical situation look like? Meaning, let's say you don't have like large installment accounts prior, okay? You don't have large installment accounts prior. This is your first installment account. It would drop and then come back up. So in a typical situation, yes. And then parentheses will rescore and come back up. Now, if we got creative, okay? If non-typical, if we, let's just say creative. If you got creative and you got a loan that does not show up on your personal report, if does not show on personal, then no. Right? Say, for example, you found maybe one of the lists of debt consolidation or just loan guys that we use inside of inside of the mastermind that we have, right? Inside of the course. So you use one of those and you got approved, right? So by the way, you guys can find this like anywhere. If you just did some research and you find like personal loans that do not report on your credit, if you did it that way, what's going to happen is they might show up on your business side, or maybe they just don't report at all. And now you can use that money to, you got a consolidation loan, you got a loan, and then paid it off automatically. The new account would not show up, right? So your age of credit is not going to get affected, or your number of accounts is not going to affect it. They're just for good or for bad, right? But all of a sudden, 100% of your payment history went to zero. Okay, so that's the instance where the answer will be no. But if it's a typical this is a typical way, and by the way, you guys always know, man, like I'm all for the creative ways to the multiple ways to skin this cat. I'm all for the creative ways. I'm all for thinking of different ways in which we could, use leverage and honestly get to the bag to better ourselves and our families. That is obviously ethical and legal and all that stuff, but it's just creative. It's just not the norm, right? It's just a little thinking than okay, cool. You just Google search debt consolidation loan, find one, and just apply without knowing your numbers, knowing like all that stuff, right? So I'm all for that. So to bring this into a conclusion, the answer is yes. If say this was an example, the answer is on a typical yes, and then it would rescore and come back up, right? If you're smart, what I told some of our mastermind guys is this: if say this is your current situation, and you've went ahead and applied some of the credit restoration processes that we, or you research on YouTube or any of the ones that I've shared or whatever, boom, you've removed all the negative items off of your credit. Okay, cool. Utilization and your score now is at 650. Utilization is high, however, and you don't have the funds to do it, or you can't find friends or family to borrow from. Okay, so now it's like, yo, Marco, I gotta like just go and get this is the only thing that's holding me back. I need a debt consolidation loan, and And I'm just thinking, just, find a debt consolidation company, have them, pay off my credit cards, any revolving other debt. Okay, cool. That's what I want to do. And then you did that. This is what's going to happen. Yes. To answer your question, then, okay, yes, it's going to drop your score temporarily and come back up. Okay. However, number two, if you went ahead and found creative ways in order for you to do this, maybe you find guys that are going to report on your business. See, you already have an established business, blah, 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 blah. And now they're going to give you a small loan that's not going to show up on your personal. And there's no prepayment penalties. Obviously, we're being smart about this, right? No prepayment penalties. It's in your favor to be able to use that money real quick, pay this down, and maybe run a sequence on your business side, and then you can transfer that over. So many creative ways to do this, right? Let's say that's your train of thought. Boom. And now after, say you paid that down, you removed any negative item. Now you're at 720, 0 negative items. Your utilization is at 0 to 5%. At your time of funding, now you can just go ahead and run your own funding sequence, right? Run your funding sequence. They say you find 5 banks, 2 main banks and 3 credit unions, or 3 main banks and two credit unions. And now you have all those banks give you 20K a piece because you've gone through these steps, right? On this now, so you've played everything in your mechanics phase, okay? And now you are in your momentum phase. You've done other things in there, and now you're about to go run your funding sequence, right? Back to back to back to back. That's how you get to the bag, and that's and I hope that answers your question. And everyone else that's in that situation, that's the same. That's the same way in which I would run it. That would add value to your credit, and now you know how to go ahead and yes, it's going to drop your score temporarily if you went the regular way. And then if you went creative way, it is not at all. And now you're at a 720. You can finish out this other phases, run your funding sequence, get 100K, and off you go. Okay. I know you guys definitely found value because I'm sharing this. I'm like, oh, this is very, very, very dope. Go ahead and like, subscribe, or share this with a friend that is going to also help them. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Any other questions of this nature, or if you like this kind of feedback, drop it in the comment box. I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.